Hey everybody, Alex Kazora, SteelersDepot.com, back with some Pittsburgh Steelers reaction and analysis. The pick is in, and with the 20th overall selection of the 2024 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Troy Fautanu, the offensive lineman, the tackle from Washington. Let's talk about the pick. Before we start, if you guys could quickly like this video, subscribe, and check out the site SteelersDepot.com. Really would appreciate that. Why this video is coming out a little bit later. It's been very busy. Obviously, it'll be very busy throughout the weekend. Ton of draft coverage for you guys. Check out the site. We'll have everything there. In the link to this video, I will put our scouting report on Fautanu, and you can really get a good feel for the player that Pittsburgh is getting. I will talk about him, though, briefly here. To the player himself, he's shorter, 6'3", but there was length. I was less concerned about, him being able to stay at tackle because I care about arm length more than I care about how tall you are. Typically, the shorter guys have shorter arms, and that is what kicks them inside, but not always. And Fautanu applies here. He's athletic, he's strong, he's got an anchor to him. There's some grip strength there. He's experienced with 31 starts, mostly at left tackle. And so those things are all really attractive. There's a demeanor to him, a physicality to him that is also what Pittsburgh is embodying. And certainly no surprise to see them go offensive line here. The big debate was it going to be tackle? Was it going to be center? I think the board broke pretty well for Pittsburgh, all things considering. 6 quarterbacks going in the top 12 that pushed some of that talent down. Some tackles went, obviously, Marius Mims to Cincinnati at 18. Kind of winced at that one a bit. I don't know if they would have taken Mims over Fautanu, though, had they had the choice of both. But if they took him over Graham Barton and Tyler Guyton and all three of the centers for that matter. But I think just overall, offensive-heavy draft, there wasn't that giant run on the offensive line, and that helped Pittsburgh. And I think that's why they did not want to trade down. They said we had the chance to trade down. They did not. And they get their guy in Fautanu, who they said was their highest rated player on the board. I'll have to do a bit more homework on him personally. I'll do that a little bit later tonight because I did not write the scouting report on Fautanu, but certainly viewed as one of those top tackles. Now the question was, would he kick inside? A lot of speculation. 5-position player. Really doesn't have the experience in the background of being super versatile, mostly left tackle in Washington. Had started 2 games in his career at left guard. I'm reading actually also credit to Dane Brugler, his draft guide. He played right tackle in high school. And so what Pittsburgh has said, he's a tackle. They're not considering him at center. I think that's smart overall. Even more projection there. If you were going to take a projection-ish guy at center, then go Graham Barton, where there's even some projection, but he's played center before. I think having him at tackle is smart. My concern was, and I said this before the draft, and I don't want to be changing the tune now, is, okay, where do you want to play him, though? People thought he'd kick inside the guard. That won't happen in Pittsburgh at center. Pittsburgh's ruled that out. They've called him a tackle. They have not said, is he going to be left tackle or right tackle? Obviously, the team has had a stated goal and desire, I agree with, to move Broderick Jones back over to left tackle, his natural spot. So you're left with 2 choices. Fautanu can stay at left tackle, and Jones can stay at right tackle, and you don't get your wish, quote-unquote, to move Jones over. Or you can move Jones over to left tackle and try Fautanu at right tackle, and now you're playing him, quote-unquote, out of position. So either way, you're going to play one of your tackles in a position that is, not his natural spot, so to speak. And that's been a recurring habit from Pittsburgh that is not typically, yielded the most fruitful results. Now, there's talents and schemes and other things that contribute to why players succeed or don't, Kevin Dotson, Kendrick Green, than just the position in which they play. But that is a concern of mine. It's a little more, I think, of an awkward situation than had you taken a true right tackle. You go, okay, Broderick Jones will go over to left tackle. Pretty open and shut case there. So we'll see. My suspicion, and we'll see, but I think Fautanu will go to right tackle, and then Broderick Jones will go to left tackle. But Mike Tomlin was hinting maybe they'll talk about that more later this weekend, but they did confirm he's going to be a tackle. But baseline level in terms of physicality, athleticism, being able to snap, being able to move in space, to play in Arthur Smith's zone-based system, but also will have some power concepts. I think that's a fit. I don't have really any concerns about that. Just trying to think about where he's going to fit overall. So it's hard to be mad about the value of that pick. Again, viewed as a potential top 10, top 15 type of guy. You get at number 20. I've always been open to trading down, but I think with the board the way it was, that broke well, you don't want to decline the gift that kind of was fallen to you in terms of the way the board broke and trade down and have the chance to miss out on a couple of your guys, even if you go down 2-3 spots. So I'm good with them staying there, making the pick. I just want to see, literally how everything is going to fit. I'll do a little more homework on Fautanu tonight, but the tape that I watched I think 2 games or so recently, there's certainly good tape there. It's not that they've drafted a bad player or somebody that was a reach or anything like that. Again, it's just trying to find where he's going to fit and how all the pieces will work together. Some other quick notes: Pittsburgh drafting offensive line in the first round in back-to-back years for the first time in team history, and they've been drafting since the first draft in 1936. So that's a cool little note there. And Pittsburgh certainly has that build with from and within your bigs and build through the trenches inside out. Under Omar Khan, under Andy Weidel, who saw that happen in Philadelphia with tremendous results overall. So seeing that continue. Pittsburgh's Blues Clues Pro Day streak is over, mostly, kind of. Pittsburgh, of course, not at the Washington Pro Day in terms of Tomlin Khan attending. It was Pat Meyer, the O-line coach, being there. Fautanu came in for a pre-draft visit. And so seeing the team's first-round pick in both years under Omar Khan come in for a visit. They were at Georgia's Pro Day last year for Broderick Jones, but I want to make a note of that. Although Mike Tomlin said it's a really good point. I should have thought about this pre-draft. The new coaching staff at Alabama, where Tomlin and Khan did attend, was the previous coaching staff at Washington. And once Nick Saban retired, they hired the Washington head coach. And so there kind of was a half credit to where you got to talk to the former Washington coach. I don't know how much they talked about Fautanu, but Tomlin seemed to imply there was some discussion of that, and they got to learn a bit more about him at that Bama Pro Day, although, of course, Fautanu was not actually there. So interesting note, but the Pro Day streak does effectively and technically end here. So I want to note that as well. So we'll see what happens on day 2. A lot of directions this team can and will go. Receiver, center. What happens at center? You got Zach Frazier, Jackson Powers Johnson available. Will they trade up? Will somebody fall? I'm not sure. What happens at receiver? Do you make a trade there? 49ers draft a receiver, Ricky Pearsall, who I had in the second round. He goes 31, so that's not happening clearly. Will they now trade one of their guys? It seems so. I'm not sure why they would draft Pearsall if they weren't intending on trading Ayuk or Samuel when you have Ayuk and Samuel and Juwan Jennings there on top of all the other weapons. So stay tuned for that. Could be a very crazy day number 2, but overall, I think you have to be happy with day 1 in terms of the talent and the player and value they got. Again, just want to see about that fit and exactly how all the pieces will align. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Appreciate you guys watching. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel. Check out the site, SteelersDepot.com. Again, put a link in the description to our scouting report on Troy Fautanu. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we will talk to you soon.